And I'm glad I went. But I think a lot of people forget that. They forget the feeling of going out and actually being entertained by something rather than, being at home or being entertained by flicking through Facebook or, sitting on social media or just sitting and chatting on the net.
Yep.
You know what I mean? And
I was always I was always motivated by women, like, where are the chicks? And back in the day,
that was
always
that was the whole
bands.
reason.
It was always bands.
That was the whole reason. What do I need to do to get chicks? Play guitar, grow my hair long.
Yeah.
Okay, I did both those things.
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, this is unreal. That's all I want to do.
And now not many of them seem to be at rock and roll gigs.
That's exactly right. They're all old, hairy blokes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
that's actually what made me leave the band. I kind of looked around and went,
I'm not gay, but $20 is $20, right? So...
Dude, no, I owed you that. What are you talking about?
I didn't mean that. No, I just oh shit, are we still rolling? Okay. It's all good. No. But seriously, no, that's exactly it. The crowds aren't like they used to be, and I think the attention's not like it used to be. People sort of like, I'm banned. It's a bit old school, isn't it, or whatever? Like I remember I did a gig not long ago in Sydney. We were on tour and with Versus Fate, and we were playing with a couple of bands. And the venue was great, and the crowd was great, and it was going off, and everything was just happening. It was just a really good night. And we were all really vibing off the place, and we got on stage, and the place went off. Like, the other three bands didn't really get that great a reception. And they had all their crowds there. We had no one because we weren't local. So we just said, look, we're relying on you to draw your crowd to this venue. We'll bring our A game, but, you bring the people. And, it's our end of tour party, and we'll have heaps of people there. And not knocking the other bands because they were good. But we just happened to get a better reception. And coming off stage, one of the other guys from the band sort of came up to us and said, you guys are all right, for a bunch of guys playing dad rock. And I was like, dad rock? I was like, mate, really? And this is the thing that sort of misses for me is like the bands don't support it. The biggest problem with the music industry right now.
Did he have a beard? Explain this.
He did. He actually did. Yeah, he had a really, really tight barber cut, and he had a beard, and he was a young. Let's just say he was exceeding the weight limit of his jeans. Right. He was quite a large lad, and he had the tats, and he had the sort of stereotypical look, right? That hipster look, and he came from this sort of semi-hardcore band, and he
drinking tea, was he? Herbal tea, kind of?
Well, it was kind of no. He was having a beer and all that sort of stuff. But what kind of got to me was afterwards when I'd say, "How old are you, mate?" And he goes, "I'm 35." And I went, he looked about 25, but I said, "You're 35, and you're sitting here and dissing us and saying dad rock." Not saying there's anything wrong with the whole label of dad rock, because we brought our A game, and at the end of the day, that's what we do. I'm proud as hell to say it. When we get on stage, we're a good band. We sound good. We look the part. We sound the part, and we sound like we do. We're not one of these bands that goes and records and doesn't sound anything like it. So it was a hit to the ego, but at the same time, I was like, well, it's not that bad a label, But just noticing how the crowd sort of see you now in comparison to what it used to be. Like, you'd go and see a band on stage, and you go, man, that was a good rock band. Yeah. Didn't matter whether they played Eagles covers or whether they played thrash metal. That was a really good band. Yeah. And now everybody's just got so sidetracked by so many genres of labels. Everyone's making their own little subgenres. Like, I listen to metal. Or I listen to post-hardcore punk pirate metal. Yeah. I'm like, man, what even is that, So it's just, I think it's all getting a little bit out of hand. I think everyone needs to support each other and sort of just be a bit more friendly to each other. Bands are so competitive, But it's different everywhere you go. Yeah, it's different in every region. But,
well, I had this thought. Would you think this is a good thing? This has to be the future for me. The old Bunnings here at Burleigh. Okay.
Oh yeah, the old one. Yep,
old one.
Yeah,
so there's a big empty room down there.
Yep. The new playroom.
Okay. I think it's going to be. Yeah. Well, it's going to be. This is the future.
Yeah.
A 24-hour place that it's an entertainment place. So it's divided into all sorts of rooms. It won't work. Someone will get stabbed or something. Yeah. But there's the hip hop place, the rock and roll.
Don't forget the lockout laws. Yeah.
Yeah. But everything happens in there. Yeah. 24 hours a day, you can go in there and find the thing you're into and enter it without the fear of getting beaten up by the...
I dig it. I'll buy some shares right now. Where do I sign up? Look, here's my first $20 right there. Like,
exactly. Here it is.
Hey?
All right.
There we go. First investor.
Would you go? I probably wouldn't. I had this thought. I thought
that just depends on what's happening on Facebook. Hang on, let me just check. There's a cat.
I'm hooked on that thing, mate.
There's a cat doing... No, that's not a cat. Oh, okay. Wrong. That wasn't Facebook. But yeah, just that's exactly it, man. You know what I mean? people would scream to have a place like that. I'd love it.
Yeah.
If someone said there was a place like that on the coast, I think, unfortunately, I don't think the coast is the right place. No. Or, no, sorry, I should not say that. Coast is the right place. The coast just doesn't have the population base to do it.
Which is weird because there's 500,000 of us.
Yeah, but it's also the mentality. I hate to put a stereotype on the Gold Coast, but there's a lot of labels on the coast. You know what I mean? And there's a lot of people, and just the coast isn't that place at the moment. Back in the mid-90s, early 90s, it was that place because everyone was into going out and checking out bands and live music, and this didn't matter what kind of music. Even if it was DJs and
skate
club
punk scene at the time.
Skate punk scene, the grunge scene, all that sort of. There was a big dance and house scene.
Yep.
If you're involved in the clubs and stuff like that, there was stuff going on.
Yeah.
Heaps of clubs and heaps of parties and this and that. There was a lot of things happening. Everyone was so proactive and into it. That's the problem. They're not now. Everyone just expects to sit back. Like bands, young bands, new bands come along and they're like, nothing's happening. Like, why not? Well, I don't know. That stuff's really good. Yeah, but are you working towards it? Are you doing anything towards it? No one promotes themselves. No one works. That's why I'm saying, the worst part about the music scene at the moment is the reason why there is no scene is because the bands don't support each other. Yeah. It's not because of the venues. It's not because of this. It's not because of that. It's because when you get to a venue, all the bands scream and go, support local music and thanks for supporting it. And it's all this big cliche spin that they all put on, which we all do. We're all guilty of it. I'm not bagging bands out there, but we all do it. And you'll put 4 bands on a bill at an original venue and all the bands will show up and every band will show up, do their set, pack up and leave. Yeah. Not one of them will stick around and watch the other bands. Not one of them will tell their friends to come along. You're playing to the other bands. You're playing to the staff. And if you're lucky, you might have 3 or 4 friends there. So I think it starts at home. I think it starts with the bands. I think it starts with the band's mentality and our mentality to promote and market ourselves. Back in the 70s, 80s, if you were in a rock band, you got flyers printed up and you spent 2 days driving around the car handing out flyers to everyone. I did that in the early 90s. I haven't seen anyone do that ever. It's all about Facebook now. It's all about Instagram. It's all about, there's no real connection, physical connection.
I actually saw a scene start, a real big one. A lot of big bands came out of it. It was a perfect time though.
Yeah.
Like so Powderfinger and Regurgitator.
Yep.
There's a couple more.
Yeah.
Brisbane bands that just got huge, right? And it all started because there was this thing, a place called the Funk Yard. It was right beside the My Centre, so a key location.
Yeah.
A middle of the city thing, right where the train stopped. And
awesome.
But they put on, it was called Rock Against Work at 2 p.m. every Friday afternoon. They'd have bands. They'd 3 bands would go until about 6:30, and then then it was sort of like at the time it was all just rock and roll DJ music, but in the same sort of vein as live music.
Yeah.
So, but at 2 p.m. everyone was like, "Let's go!" So you had all these sort of people without jobs, or particularly uni students.
Yeah.
And that's where
getting into it,
Powderfinger and heaps of big names started there. But it was a real scene.
Yeah.
It was and everyone was there. There's heaps
because it was something to do. But again, it was right before this whole IT scene.
Yeah.
Before the internet exploded.
Yeah, you're
everything
right.
Became
we heard about it. It wasn't that. It was more, people would hear about it.
It was a connection. It was like, hey, you'd go to work or you'd go to uni or you'd go to school and you'd go, hey, man, what are you doing tomorrow? Oh, man, I'm going down to this place. I'm going to check out this and do this and have some beers and rah. That's it. We don't
and they
have
blacked
that.
out all the windows too. There was you were in there, no one even knew you were there. It was like rock against work. The outside world, you couldn't see it, like a casino.
We used to do it years ago in some of the industrial zones, like here on the coast, like back in the mid-90s, like a few of us got together, a few bands got together, and we were like, how are we going to make some cash? So we'd go to all the industrial areas, like Mollen Diner and Burley and all these different places, and, we'd go and find some place that had a big factory in a car park, and we'd be like, hey, listen, how about we put on a rock show Friday afternoon? We're going to put black plastic over the fences so no one can see inside. We'll put some security at the door. We organised this guy. He had a trailer. He had full of prawns. He came in and gave you a plate of prawns for $5 and stuff like that. We organised drinks and all this other stuff. And a couple of guys would turn up with the vans with drinks and stuff like that. And we'd put up a little stage and a PA. And it wasn't anything huge. It wasn't any big production. But we'd get 3 or 4 bands to get up there and play originals and covers. And we'd invite all the workers from the whole area and just charge them $5 to get in. And everyone was there. It was packed every Friday in a different place. And it was so much fun to do. It only lasted a few months because the guys who were organising, we just got, you get complacent. You're like, no, I couldn't be bothered. I'm too lazy. Right. I want to go for a surf or I want to get, these things end. But it was just such a cool thing to do.
Right. A scene.
Yeah.
a scene was
But
created.
you can't do that nowadays because, like, if you try and do that, someone will come in and go, "Oh no, man, you got public liability.
Yeah.
Oh man, you got this. Oh, you got OH&S, or you got this happening. Oh, I'm going to sue you for this." It's like there's just nowhere to express that or have fun or do any of that anymore. And there's a lack of venues too. It's hard. Yeah. It's a hard scene, man, right now.
Obviously, it's going to get so bad that something great's going to happen.
I think it's already happening though, because you got.
I was watching your Save Me video.
Yeah.
Yeah. And because checking you out, like, okay, what's Versus Fate all about? And I'm like, okay, they're rock and roll in here. Like, I don't even know your genre. I don't know, I don't know that whatever it is, but. We were pumping it through this factory here this afternoon.
Yeah.
And it's a great song, great video.
Thanks, man.
And you're rocking out.
Yeah.
I'm a firm believer, and that's how I like to play too.
Yeah.
Like you can't let a single accent go. If anyone in the band isn't accenting on an accent with something like, we're enjoying this.
Exactly.
I want to show you why I love this song because of this bit. Bum, 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 you know?
Yeah.
And I don't think that will ever go out of style. So people will go, Facebook, and I'm the worst at Facebook, man. I actually go, and then a couple of days will go by and go, oh my God,
man,
I'm
it's a time vampire.
I'm in the zone. Like something's happened. My eyes are addicted to this screen. I can't get away from it.
Yeah.
But then I'll be blown out by some actual entertainment I see somewhere from a person.
Yeah, that's it.
That will never go out of style.
Exactly. And you just go, you sort of sit back and go, wow, that was cool. I'm into that. You sort of reconnect. And that's the thing. Like, there's no reconnection, but there's actually like some venues and stuff on the coast that are starting to bring bands back. They've sort of heard, the music community go, there's a lack of venues, there's a lack of this, and a couple of the pubs have gone, well, hang on, we've got heaps of pokies, let's get some bands in here as well. Yeah. So it's good to see them starting to come back on board and do that. It's actually really refreshing to see that, and they're using booking agents and they're doing it right. It's a really good thing.
Like
it feels good.
Starting to move. Obviously, if you've got 500,000 people, there's
an audience,
and you've got nowhere to play.
Yeah.
But say in my area, Currumbin Creek Tavern just started putting on original bands.
We played there.
Well,
last
everyone
week.
did because there was nowhere else to play.
Yeah, that's it.
And what a great move.
Yeah.
Because our crap cover band was there.
Yeah, right.
I say crap every time, mate. It was actually the best thing you've ever seen. Cover band. But they stopped putting us on because they realised, hang on, we put on 4 original bands. Everyone's family come, everyone's friends.
Yeah.
Because no one is, they found the niche. They went, geez, $200. They pay the PA guy $200.
Yeah, that's right.
Or whatever it is,
and they get the bands in, and
the
bands
because
bands
there's actually there's a calling for it. There's nothing happening in the city.
Yeah, well, we were down there last week, and the room was good. The room was excellent.
No one stabbed him.
actually.
Did you see any neck tattoos or
No
stabbing?
Didn't see any.
I'm
Didn't
joking.
see any. Only on my mum, but
They're
she's
good
like, she was. I told her to wait in the car. No, it was a pretty good venue, but it's good.
Yeah,
it's just a shit.
Triangular.
I just hate it when you get to a venue and it's going off, and then you get some good bands coming on, the place just empties out because everyone wants to. It's like, stick around. There's some good acts.
Yeah.
There was a band on with us, and they were just brilliant. They were awesome. It's good to see there's some good bands out there.
Yeah, that rehearse in their room every week. They finally get out into the thing. Go,
yeah, that's it.
God, you're so tight. You're such a
it.
machine. You don't even know what the rest of the world is like. You've
Yeah.
just been doing your thing, entertaining each other in a room for so long.
And it's weird because like you see these guys who are stuck in a room so long together, playing the same songs for so long together. People don't realise, the public or the audience, the punters don't realise that when you get on stage, you've probably played those songs week in, week out for the last 12 months and just like on repeat.
Yeah.
So by the end of it, when you get on stage to do that gig, you're hell excited and they're hell excited to see you. But you're sitting there going, man, if I have to play this song one more time, I swear I'm going to shoot myself in the face. Right? And that's how you do it. I mean, you look at bands like big bands that are touring for a year on end. You're like, well, they're playing the same show every night. They want to get to the end of that tour and just go, man, if I ever hear that song on the radio, I'm gonna crash my car.
Yeah.
So like, it gets like that, but I think that's the draw card of it. You got to take the good with the bad. We do what we do because we love what we do, because it's our art form and it's our expression. And regardless of or irregardless of, how many times you might do that or how many times you might play that song. As soon as you get in front of a crowd, you could play it for 2 years straight to an empty room to yourselves because you're rehearsing. But as soon as you get into one room with 3 people in it, it just automatically sparks you up. You just get reignited, and you're like, "This is exactly why I do it."
Yeah.
I don't care if it's